Good afternoon. My name is Susan Doyle and I will be your facilitator today on behalf of Lean Construction Ireland. I would like to welcome you to Lean Construction Ireland's 44th webinar, the topic of which is Modubuild, our Lean and Modular. If you have a question, please type in the question box and we will ask James in the second half of the webinar. If there are any questions that we don't get answered during the webinar, we will follow up by email afterwards. The speaker for today is James Blanchfield, Pre-Contract Director at Modubuild. James has worked with Modubuild since 2008. In this time, he has held various positions, including health and safety, project management and procurement. Since 2014, his role within the company is focused on underpinning company growth across the EMEA market. In this time, Modubuild has grown exponentially, now active in 13 countries, and is the leading contractor of choice for delivery of internal construction systems and volumetric turnkey modular construction for high-tech end users in the life sciences, data center, and healthcare sectors. A Limerick IT graduate in construction project management, in 2020, James completed his MBA at Waterford IT, and he is currently undertaking further strategic professional development at MIT Sloan School of Management. This, coupled with his professional experience, gives him a stable foundation to understand the nuances of Kaizen CI, leadership, change management, and corporate innovation. James is an advocate and supporter of lean and operational excellence. In 2020, working under the supervision of Dr. Darren Taylor, he completed a research thesis focusing on the benefits of lean during the tendering stage of construction projects. I'll now pass you over to James to begin his presentation.
Thanks very much, Susan. Hello everyone, and many thanks to you all for attending today's LCI webinar. Thank you very much to the LCI board for inviting me to speak today. I must admit I was quite surprised to have been invited, but also flattered. I hope you find the next 30 to 40 minutes interesting and that the lean philosophy here at Modubuild is of interest to you. And before I kick off, I just would like to say a quick mention of thanks to Darren Taylor for his mentoring and coaching regarding my own lean journey. And it's imperative for me to thank Susan for all of her hard work, for her continuous hard work in delivering and facilitating these monthly LCI webinars. I think over the last 4 months, Susan has experienced firsthand my own level 5 skills of evasion and avoidance. So Susan, I apologise to you for that. After I was asked, so just a little brief story around myself. In the weeks and months leading up to this webinar, I became acutely aware of the fact that I'm a barefaced procrastinator. When I was asked to present at this webinar, I jumped at the opportunity and I set out a brilliant plan of preparing an all singing and all dancing presentation where I do a little bit in January, I do a little bit more in February, more in March and more in April. Get ready for today, and today will be the best plan, the best webinar that LCI would have ever seen. But the reality of that was actually the total opposite. And for anybody who has ever looked at Tim Urban's TED Talk, this slide will be very, very familiar to you all. For those of you who haven't watched it, I actually really recommend that you do watch it. For people who are interested in lean, it's a very good webinar to put us on the right track, to make sure that we do what we say we do when we say we'll do it. But the reality of it was that in January I just did a little bit. In February and March, April, I did very, very little because I jumped our good friend, the procrastination monkey, and we achieved very little in those couple of months. But we watched a lot of rugby and went for a lot of walks and talked a lot about what we were going to do, but didn't really do anything. Until yesterday, you see my good friend up in the right-hand corner, the panic monster, jumped out and kicked me into gear to get this presentation completed. This all but confirmed my self-opinion that I am an unbelievable procrastinator. My wife will tell you that, but she mightn't put it in as a polite description. But the irony of this is, for a person who preaches about lean and preaches about continuous improvement, a Kaizen culture, but I'm not able to arrange and work my own workload, it is certainly something that needs immediate improvement and potentially a mindset change. While I'm speaking about mindset change, I think it's important to refer to this book, Mindset, written by Dr. Carol Dweck. I highly recommend it. The first time I ever met Darren Taylor, and subsequent to that, Noel Hennessy, within the first 5 minutes of our conversation, both guys recommended this book. for anybody who's looking to embark on a lean journey. Trust me, it will empower you with the belief that if it matters enough, you can change your mindset, you can increase your intelligence, increase your knowledge base to achieve what you want to achieve. A full disclosure before I kick off here is that I don't know everything. All we're looking at today is my own perspective from within my own bubble of Modubuild at looking at lean. There's no doubt that there's people out there and people on this webinar who are going to have much greater, broader perspectives and knowledge than I will. But what I will speak about today is certainly my perspective, and people are welcome to disagree or agree with me. And I'm fully aware that there's people wider in the industry who will have greater knowledge than me. I really hope that you all get some element of knowledge or some element of value from what I'm going to touch about over the next about 25 minutes. So just to give a brief introduction to Modubuild and what we do. We are headquartered in Kilkenny, in Kilkenny City, and we have an off-site volumetric production facility located about 20 miles north of Kilkenny City in a town called Castlecomer. Additionally to that, we have regional offices in Manchester, Amsterdam, Brussels, and Helsinki. We're active in about 13 European countries where we have registered companies, RPEs. What we specialise in catering, we have 3 business units. And we've deviated internally to 3 business units. The first business unit that we have is our internal construction, which is really the high-tech fit-out for data centres, life science facilities, battery manufacturing facilities, gigafactories, gigaplants, food and beverage, and stability storage. And to give that a little bit of context of the types of construction we're delivering, it's really controlled environments, fire and blast partitions, ceilings, doors, GMP ISO classified areas, and modular partitions. The second part of our business, our second business unit, is our volumetric offsite construction business, which is what we see as being the future of the industry. And with that business, we are delivering modular volumetric turnkey laboratories, elements of data centers, manufacturing areas, packaging buildings, hospitals, controlled environments. In context of this, we're delivering, I suppose, 95% offsite completeness. And when I say that, it's not just the box. That consists of all of the internal elements as well in the CSA and MEP packages. One of our recent projects, I think I stand to be corrected, which one of my colleagues would if he was here, that I think there was about 62 or 63 different systems on one of our recent projects. And all of those systems were completed offsite at our factory. To add to that, we're doing a full set of factory acceptance testing, pre-commissioning, virtual tests, and so forth. One of the big selling points of this is that what we are doing is replicable and scalable. We can stack, and it's rapid build. When I say it's replicable, if we have a client in Dublin who is looking for an identical facility in the Netherlands or in Sweden or Belgium or elsewhere, that we can very easily replicate that facility without any major issues. The final element that we have is our offsite data center equipment, or our OSM data center equipment division. And this is where we are constructing elements of data centers offsite, be it cooling aisles, hot aisles, perforated partitions, or skids. The objective here is that we are providing standard components, assembling them in our factory, flat packing, delivering to site, and installing, or alternatively, we are assembling in their entirety and delivering to site. Today, I'm going to focus on what I'm discussing here. I'm going to focus on the second 2 business units there, being the offsite volumetric construction and the OSM equipment. As I discussed earlier on, we have locations all around Europe. We tend to follow our clients around Europe as they bring us with them. We add value to our clients throughout the life cycle of all of their projects. For that reason, they bring us with them around Europe to all of their projects. Our value proposition of our company is that at Modubuild, we provide turnkey, offsite, volumetric manufactured 3D construction systems to clients across the EMEA region at unrivaled speeds, where we achieve right first time quality to exceptional safety, performance, and with budget certainty. Throughout, I'm going to touch on all of those topics, or all of those items throughout this discussion. The first step that we have that is allowing us to revolutionise, I suppose, the offsite manufacturing facility, our offsite manufacturing, is our offsite manufacturing facility. This is a facility that we invested very, very heavily in, and in fairness to our shareholders, they've put their money where their mouths are with this, and have made a significant investment in acquiring and bringing this facility up to modern standards. It's located, as I said, in Castlecomer, which is about 20 minutes north of Kilkenny City. It's a 145,000 square foot manufacturing facility under one roof. We believe that it's the largest and one of the most advanced in Europe. And by saying that it's fitted out with state-of-the-art tooling and equipment. Our production is based on a linear lean production line, that your building will commence construction on one end of the building. It will move through the building to a modular assembly line, where we will bring your building together and commence all of the internal fit out of the building, and we will break it down into its individual modules again and take it out a door at the opposite end. One of the big points of it is that we have office space for 100 people within the facility, and as what this allows us to bring project teams, including all of our trade partners and client stakeholders, take all of those to our facility, which is allowing us to really increase our lean project delivery. Simply because we can get decisions made much faster, we can get technical submittals through and approved much quicker, we can get problem solving done quite easily, simply because we have the team at the place again. We have a structural steel fabrication facility within this, which is the big building that you see on the left hand side. That is CE mark steel, which gives us greater control over the steel production, and allows us to make sure that the steel is to the demanded quality that's required. And finally, we have our state-of-the-art tooling and equipment. So it's fitted. The facility is fitted out with gantry cranes, with trenches, with press machines, and so forth. And finally, it's located on a 10-acre site, which is giving us significant ability to scale and expand the facility to make it bigger. In context of what we deliver, our volumetric turnkey system is incredible. It really, really is, as it's offering clients with a market disrupting system. And when I'm saying that, it's market disrupting in the sense that it is fully turnkey offsite. We are providing buildings to about 85 to 90% completeness. And this, as I said, this is factoring in all CSA and MEP packages. Our volumetric systems can be standalone structural buildings, or they can be internal buildings that are fitted into an existing host building. In context of the standardized components and data center equipment, this is kind of where we deliver prefabricated standardized components. And these components are typically elements that are required in high volume or high multiple, and are replicable in projects where they require a high on-site labor. Is what we're doing is we are trying to reduce the on-site labor by achieving as much pre-assembly as we can at our off-site manufacturing facility, if not taking them to the whole way through to completion at the off-site manufacturing facility. For this, we are looking to reduce site hours, which is a big thing for our clients and most end users, is to reduce site hours and reduce the number of people on the ground, which is a very pertinent topic, particularly during the COVID-19 restrictions that we still find ourselves in. It is allowing us to achieve higher quality and repeating quality standards. We're not affecting the critical path on projects. And it's allowing us to manufacture components under our own control, subsequently take them to site and install in a much more efficient and effective process. And finally, by standardizing our work practices in our offsite facility, it's giving our clients cost certainty, and that there are no issues in regards site conditions slowing work down, EOTs being submitted, and subsequent cost increases. To break it down a little bit more simply into I suppose, a four-step process. The first step that we're doing is we're creating a set of replicable individual elements that are required for assembly of a unit. The second step that we're doing is we're assembling the standard components for flat pack or complete delivery in high volume to site. The third step that we're doing is we're assembling the unit in multiples on site. And the final step is that we're delivering a completed and handover project to the end user. So out of all of that, really, our objectives for our modular offsite business units is to reduce site hours. And that's very, very important to us through parallel construction. The next step is to maximize the elements or parts of a building that can be constructed off-site. We're acutely aware that not all buildings can be constructed off-site in their entirety. Perhaps a portion of buildings or annexes of buildings, or certainly the entire building maybe. We're acutely aware that it is certain elements of it. The next part is to provide the turnkey buildings that I just touched on, and deliver OSM building components as our fourth. In context to the value add that we're looking to bring to our clients and our customers, is what we want to do is provide them with cost certainty that there is going to be no, I suppose, movement on prices or EOTs or anything like this happening. We want to give our clients a better construction schedule. And as I say a lot, by taking intrinsic control, it empowers us to optimize input of our supply and value chain, to maximize our output and subsequently provide schedule benefits and not affect the critical path of projects. And finally, we strive to achieve higher quality. By bringing manufacture to our offsite facility, we take greater control and ownership of quality, essentially giving us quality at source, ensuring that we are achieving target zero defects at building delivery stage. This is achieved through various FAT tests, pre-commissioning tests, and offsite testing, offering end users with full confidence that their building or their space is fully operational and to the required standards and quality prior to delivery to site. In context of lean here at Modubuild and what we're doing for lean at Modubuild, it may seem like a big and bold statement, but lean is in our DNA. It's what we do and has been central to our operations since our foundation in 2006. We don't frame it as being lean internally. We prefer it to be an organic, I suppose, an organic business function. We don't force it, but we practice it, and we embrace it to make it organic and meaningful. Value-add activities have been central to our operations since our foundation. This goes right the way back to our founding member, our founding and current MD, Kevin Brennan, who is a champion of value-add and a champion of continuous improvement and lean within our business. As a result, this gives us a top-down and cascading culture where we have become that lean is a bottom-up, with all staff being catalysts for CI and Kaizen improvement within our business. We practice lean operational excellence for the right reasons. We don't practice it to win awards. We don't practice it to, shall I say, make marketing for marketing. We practice it to add value to our clients and our internal customer to ensure that we are much more efficient in what we're doing and that we're continuously improving. And we gather data in all of our departments, and data is really, really important to us. We gather important data that allows us to improve. And if we get stuck, we collaborate and we review our data to understand what the problem is and why we're getting stuck. We use data and our catalysts, and our catalysts are our people, because they are the guys on the ground who understand what's happening. To bring the team, coupled with our leadership and our ideal behaviours, to find solutions and organically become unstuck. To do all of this, we need to go to the Gemba, but we need to ensure that our management layers are involved. And as part of this, through our leaders, we are the ones who create the culture and the routine and the ideal behaviours. But we also, as leaders within the business, we need to be open to critique, and we need to be told where we need to improve. Because there's no point in having a top-down culture where the people coming from the bottom up don't feel their voices heard, or where they feel us as leaders can improve. As I said, we practice lean for the right reasons and not win awards. Yes, that's for vanity, but we do it for results. And using all of this, we create our culture. And we believe that culture is, we believe internally in Modubuild, that culture is what happens when the leaders are absent from the Gemba, and it's the ideal set of behaviours that our people do. But why do we all do all this? We do all this to empower us, and all of this empowers us to instill systems thinking in our company and create systemic collaboration within our company across the life cycle of all our projects and beyond. Excuse me. We employ behaviours front and centre to all of our business activities, and we learn from actual events and from the data. So to talk through some of the points that we do internally is, as I said, it's inherent. Lean is inherent to us as a business. We optimize our value chain. We're constantly looking to maximize efficiency throughout our operations, and that's where our data is really, really important. If we're having an issue or we're not being efficient, the data will tell us that. We're constantly doing waste and why analysis and putting control measures in place. We have an exceptionally robust continuous improvement system and learning, which we feel makes us a very important part of being a learning organization. Planning and scheduling is very, very important to us. As we all know, projects are becoming considerably more digitized, and the sector is becoming a lot more digitized. With that, we have had to change with the times. Not like any other construction companies that are out there, where BIM is becoming the tool of choice for design, for quality, for cost management, and for programming. Data collection and management is important to us. We have 2 people working full-time on data collection within the business, and who are constantly looking at data collection and looking at what we're doing, and perhaps why and understanding why we're getting the results we're getting, but also where red flags are being raised. We have boundaryless collaboration within our business, where all departments are talking to each other. Every day I look after our business development unit. Every day I'm speaking with our design team, with our operations team, to understand what we're doing and to understand our abilities to move forward. And empowerment and development is really, really important to us. We have a training and learning specialist working within the business. We also have an employee experience manager, and both of those people are central to what we're doing and central to developing us as a business. So through all of that, I hope I've given you a kind of a broad understanding of what we're doing lean here at Modubuild. I have spoken a lot about culture and the culture that we have within our business. Just to touch a little bit on it, because I believe that the first step of lean is people, not process. But if people aren't on board or people don't feel valued, they're not going to respond and not going to be as productive as they could be or potentially should be. We have categorized our culture based on 6 pillars, but we've defined it on 6 pillars, and these pillars are diversity, integrity, dynamism, that we're caring to work for. We genuinely care about our people. We care about their development, we care about their well-being, we care about them professionally, we care about everything that our people do. Ambition is very, very, very important to us, and positivity is exceptionally important to us. These are key. These pillars are key to our lean culture and our lean philosophy. But just to break them down a little bit more, and what it is that what happens under each one. And the deeper that we dive into lean philosophy, we can see that our culture is underpinned by lean philosophy, where we're caring, we're people orientated. We're constantly looking for positivity. We're encouraging positive outcomes. And it's very, very important to us that number 1, we're focusing on goals. Number 2, that we have a no blame culture. If a mistake happens, a mistake happens. There's no getting away from the fact that we've made a mistake, that we've made an error, or something has gone wrong. But it's what we do with that. And that's very, very important to us. Our can-do attitude is really important to us. If we say that we can do something, we don't leave our clients down. We do everything we can to make sure that we do it. If we can't do it, we come back with what we see as being viable alternatives. And fun. Yes, we're all here in work every day to get our job done, but it's important to also to have fun when we're in work and feel positive about what we're doing. And having fun while we're in work is key to that. Diversity, we're open-minded, we're friendly, we're cultured, we're international, but on that front, collaboration, and again, is underpinning in lean philosophy. Collaboration is key to us. And by saying that, it's boundaryless collaboration, and it's not only internal collaboration, it's external collaboration with our trade partners and whatnot, which I'll speak about later on. Integrity is really key. Honesty, behavior, relationships, trust, and respect. That we're respecting our people, we respect what our people do, they respect us, and that, as I mentioned, that top-down, bottom-up culture, it coincides very well, and it cascades throughout the entire business, where people feel respected. If people don't feel respected or people feel down in themselves about their job, then we have a problem as a senior management team within the business that we need to work very hard to put right. Dynamic, and this is where I suppose our CI culture really comes to the fore, that we embrace change. Embracing change is very, very, very important to us. As I said earlier on, we have a very, very robust change management reporting system, where we like to believe that we're a company of problem solvers, that we're fast and that we're agile, that we're constantly learning, that we never stop looking to achieve perfection. When you think you have perfection, it's just when it's going to jump up and bite you in the bum that something will go wrong. We're engaging and we have great innovation and communication. And innovation and R&D is very, very, very important to us. We have an internal R&D team who are constantly looking at new systems or improved systems or better ways of doing things. And that is better ways of constructing projects or better ways of achieving our end goal. Ambition is very, very important to us also, where we're looking to develop careers, which is inherent in lean. We're looking to bring people on journeys. We're not looking for somebody to come in and be gone a couple of days later. We're looking for people to come in who will come on the journey with them, and we will help them on that journey. We have a lot of ambitions as a company. We're continued growth, where people are the company, where we have a common purpose and goal, but leadership is very, very key to what we're doing also. So what does all that mean for us? I think realistically, looking at it internally, and we do a lot of work on this internally, what all that means is that gives us a really, really solid foundation to be an operationally excellent business in all facets of our business. We're not perfect. We're very, very, very aware that we're not perfect, but we're constantly chasing perfection. And we believe that all of the pillars that I've mentioned above and the subsequent ideal behaviors align with what is this operational excellence cycle. So just to give some, I suppose, some understanding of what we're doing internally, I've mentioned that data collection. So just to show what we're doing, we are collecting data on each and every department of the outputs, inputs, understanding what departments are doing. And this is singly the largest or the most important facet of our business in context of improvement and in context of understanding what we're doing. There's no point in measuring data if it doesn't have an impact on your business. And that is one of the big learnings that I have come across in the last 2 or 3 years. We can collect all of the data we want, but the data needs to be on point to what we're doing. Each department has its own set of KPIs, and through developing those KPIs, they're constantly being measured, constantly being reviewed. We're looking at what departments are doing, and then we use these results to understand where we're getting stuck and how to organically improve or how to become unstuck. Training and standardization. This is something that we introduced in 2013, and training and work practice standardization. So we have a dedicated quality manager, Emma Delaney, and Emma works through all company departments to create and develop and improve our standard operating procedures. Using the data that we attain from the data analytics department, we're reviewing our processes and applying CI to improve all of our SOPs and what we're doing. Additionally, we recently appointed a training and development manager, and working in tandem with our talent experience manager, Ciara O'Dwyer, the training and learning manager, they're putting together a full set of video demos for all of our operations within our business to support our standard set of our set of SOPs. This will ensure that there's less ambiguity and reduced errors, that if somebody is in doubt, they can look at the video and they can make sure that the quality of their work is where it needs to be. And this is underpinned again by lean philosophy, where we're reducing waste. And the objective of this is that we're looking to reduce reworks, or even for that point, overworks. As I mentioned, we have a very, very robust continuous improvement cycle within the business, and we operate this Kaizen cycle throughout all of our departments. And this journey doesn't stop. This is a rhetorical item for us, which is probably no different to anybody else. If we have an issue, we address it. We're not afraid. We don't bury our heads in the sand. If there's an issue, we take it head on. As I said, managers and senior leaders, we're open to critique as well. To do this, sometimes we need to be direct to really improve. We need to be direct and that CI, the improvement isn't personal. Sometimes there is a worry in industry where you're trying to improve, that I suppose you're having a cut off somebody personally about their work practices or the way that they're doing things. It's the total opposite, in fact. So therefore, in our belief, it's not personal. But it's really key that we allow that data talk that I presented a few moments ago, and we allow ourselves to raise those red flags and understand the patterns and understand the themes that are coming out, understand what we're doing well, but more importantly, understand what we're not doing well. Because we don't understand what we're not doing well, it's very, very difficult for us to improve. And what we hope that makes is that gives us tangible CI, tangible improvement in what we were doing, but also smart improvement in what we were doing. That we're not trying to I suppose, as Darren Taylor would often say, we're not trying to chase Godot. We're looking for something that is real and that can be achieved. I mentioned supply chain collaboration earlier on, and in context of our modular and our volumetric modular business, this is imperative. And getting this right has been key to our success in our modular division. It's one of our most important activities, particularly in regard to our OSM projects, as I said. To deliver complex projects is essential, and it's absolutely essential for our partners and our trade partners to be fully aligned with the project requirements and deliverables, but also with our philosophy for delivering modular buildings and how we do it and how we build them. So far, we've had some significant success in this area with our trade partners, and they have been successful, really, really integral to our project success. Together, we're generating ideas, but just to take you through this, together we're generating ideas for projects. This is essentially the how and why, and the how and why we, as a consortium of people coming and working under the Modubuild umbrella, how we're going to deliver your project. We define our project objectives very, very early in the project, and this is done through collaboration. This is done through collaborative scheduling, through collaborative design, procurement, and putting our plan together on an LPS board very early in the job. Yes, we're developing our P6 schedules and our schedules for the job and all of our document schedules and so forth, but it's really important that we can get it there in black and white in front of us, that it's staring at us every day in the face. So that's why the LPS is LPS Lath Planner systems are very, very important to how we're doing what we're doing. If we stumble upon issues, we find solutions at the Gemba. This is one of the positives of our offsite facility, in the fact that we can bring all of our trade partners and all of the stakeholders to a single place of work, that the client isn't going to be in one place, the design team is going to be in another place, and all of our trade partners are based on site. We have all of the key stakeholders at the facility. Therefore, again, reducing further wastes, making decision-making very, very efficient, but also getting problems solved there and then. Together we deliver our projects as planned. 9 times out of 10 that's happening, and it's really, really important that we celebrate our wins, and that empowers enthusiasm for the next project. That empowers us to come to the next project and do so with an element of enthusiasm that we haven't had before. And finally, starting from our operational excellence and improvement, we review what we did. And this is really important, that we actually review what we did, and we understand what we did really well. But like I said previously, we understand what we didn't do so well, and that we can improve that and bring it to the next project. As I said, we are not afraid to expose our issues, and we can never achieve operational excellence if we don't understand what our issues are. BIM integration, I suppose this has been the big change in the construction sector over the last 7 or 8 years. Is BIM integration, and that journey for us, the BIM integration journey, it's still ongoing, but it's still very, very important. We have what we see as being a very, very strong BIM design department of almost, I think there's about 25 people in our BIM team, and they're focused on the design deliverables on a project, and that is through technical submittals, design submittals, updating drawings, updating BIM models, doing clash detections and the like. And we're using BIM to be as our document management tool, and that's working out very well for us, using systems like BIM 360, 360 Field and whatnot, and also for quality management. But areas that we're currently looking to improve upon is using BIM as a scheduling tool and linking our BIM models back to our project schedules to ensure that the updated project schedule is actually reflecting what is being done on site and what is being updated daily on our BIM model. We're looking to introduce it into cost management and introduce it into resource planning. So essentially, I think is what the buzzword there is, I stand to be corrected, is 5D and 6D modeling. So as I said, we have a really, really strong BIM team. And we have Raymond McNamara is our BIM lead. One of the really strong points about Ray is not only is he excellent at BIM and using Revit and using all of the tools, but he also understands how buildings go together. He was boots on the ground himself for the first part of his career. He came to BIM then and came to design in the last number of years, and he has really excelled on that. Have I anything else to touch on there? As mentioned previously, yeah, we've recently introduced a digitization committee, and the purpose of the digitization committee is to knit the BIM integration more into our company and into our project operations. Achievement recognition. This is so important for us. I mentioned previously that we celebrate our wins, and we certainly do. But it's really important for us that our people feel valued, and that those who make outstanding contributions to our business, within our business, that they're recognized for what they do. I'm sure that there's nothing worse than going to work every day, as saying to Susan before they started, and going to work every day and feeling undervalued, and going in and not believing that you're part of a team. We work exceptionally hard to ensure that each and every person is part of a team. We strive to avoid people feeling down about their role. So it's really key for us that we recognize our people and give them the kudos and the awards for what they're doing. So on the right hand side there, it's a picture of Lance Manning, who won our award for his outstanding contribution to design. Lance is looking after design in a very, very complex data center in Sweden at the moment, and he's achieving all of his targets. He's doing what he's doing, but he is also bringing daily improvements to what we're doing and being proactive in making sure that what we're doing aligns with what the client wants, but also that Lance is kind of making sure that we're bettering what the client is looking for also. So really, to frame all that and bookend that off, the top-down message here in Modubuild is that everything must add value. And I hope that over the last few minutes, before I move on to the next part of this, over the last few minutes that I have offered sufficient value or sufficient commentary to support that we're a value-add company. Moving on to what I believe is a modular mindset. Maybe I'm going to be a little bit outspoken here, and apologies if I am. But before I conclude, I feel that it's important for me to touch on this and what it takes to change the industry to make modular the construction method of choice. By no means am I an expert on the topic. However, through my research and through my experience, I have attained some knowledge that might be beneficial. I'm opening there by saying that the construction sector is a paradox, and perhaps that's a bold comment. But the sector is scheduled, or is forecast to grow 15% in Ireland in 2021. Material prices are soaring through the roof at the moment. But there's a huge number of jobs out there that still need to be filled, while restrictions remain in place. So really, demand is outstripping supply at the moment. But construction, there's issues like no other industries, where we have been in many ways reluctant to modernise and reluctant to change to what is MMOC, being modern methods of construction, and using that to, I suppose, maximise our productivity. We move from project to project, and really strong project teams come together and execute a project and execute it well. But then we move on to the next project and we forget about what we did and all of the good stuff we did, and we're probably guilty of reverting back to type. What I mean by this is that we still create mass gatherings of people on site and unsustainable work practices, yet there is a shortage of labour out there. I remember I recently attended a local county final here in Kilkenny, and I remember reading the player biographies on it. There was 4 teams out on the day, which is about 75 players. Of the 75 players, I counted 20 tradespeople. If you go back 20 years ago and look at a GA match program, you might have had 20 professionals, and the balance would be tradespeople. There's been a total flip in the industry, and they're not there. Tradespeople are not there. Other industries have developed, but construction just appears to be stuck. And by saying that, you could look at an aircraft facility back in 1921 and it will be absolutely of zero relevance or zero comparison to what it might be today. But we can look at a construction site and we're still applying some of the same tactics, the same methods, be it wet trades, be it painting, be it whatever it is. We're still bringing mass gatherings of people to sites. So the issues in the sector that we're facing is forcing us to change. Now, and I believe, and I think many people in the sector believe that now is the time for transition to MMC or DFMA or offsite construction, whatever we want to do it, and ensure that that is sustainable change. And to change, we need to change incrementally, being the beast that we are. And to do so, I believe that we need a generational change. And in saying that, we need to change how we're teaching the professionals that are coming out of college and make modular construction, which I know a lot of the ITs around Ireland are doing, particularly LIT and WIT, but they're making modular construction a module in its own on college courses. Within our business, but we need to apply, I believe, change management strategies. And one of the strategies that I have become aware of over the last number of years is Qatar's 8-step change management strategy. One of the interesting points of this is we can look at what Qatar is about. It's about increasing urgency, building a guiding team, getting the right vision, buy-in for communication, empowering action, creating short wins that we don't let up and we make it stick. One of the important or the pertinent points of that change model is that it's underpinned throughout by lean philosophy again. So it's created by creating wins, empowering people, getting the right vision, don't let up, and getting people behind us. Funnily, most change management objectives fail because we as business leaders, or we as leaders within businesses, fail to manage them properly. So one of the methods that I would personally recommend is to apply a change management model that is applicable. And when I say applicable, I mean that it's suitable, that it works in context of the change that you're trying to impose on your business. We have our modular mindsets in terms of to embrace BIM and to embrace project digitization as the new norm and use it across the life cycle of our projects. More efficient and embrace project digitization. Finally, so what do we do? For us as a contractor, we have pivoted in the last number of years. And it took a lot of work for us to pivot from the construction mindset to the manufacturing mindset. And that's one of the things that we need to do. As constructors, we're used to being on site, we're used to boots on ground. But now we're bringing the construction of our facilities into factories. And to do that, we slightly need to change how we're doing things. We slightly need to change our processes or our schedule of buildings. For instance, we're building buildings in reverse, where we're fitting the internal elements of the buildings out first, and then we're putting the cladding on. So we need to change our mindset to the manufacturing mindset to enable us and to empower us to adopt linear lean manufacturing processes. As an industry, we are all responsible for driving transformation, be that from the client to the contractors, to the designers, to the architects, to the people who are actually building the project. We need to transform that and think about modular at the beginning of a job, rather than designing a project and then trying to shoehorn modular into it. Have modular being the first port of call, and then build your building around, build your other elements of the building through traditional methods, perhaps. I believe that there's greater collaboration and data sharing needed within the sector to ensure that modular becomes the first port of call on projects. I understand that the CIF are starting this based on the government directives, and I was only speaking with them last week. Finally, we need to remove any misconceptions that modular is low quality. It's the opposite. Those of a certain age group, or maybe they're still there in schools, but those of a certain age group will remember being marched across a schoolyard into a small prefab building, the cold, that's put together. That day has moved on. In fact, we're delivering the total opposite. We're delivering buildings now, high-tech buildings for high-tech end users in the life science and data center sectors that are actually outstripping, if not outdoing, the quality that is achievable on site. despite everything I've said and everything I've spoken about for the last little while, we accept that we're not perfect, but our journey for excellence won't stop and won't let up. Our Kaizen strategy is central to our future, it's central to who we are today, and it's central to what we're going to be in 2 years' time, 10 years' time, and 20 years' time. On that note, I'll finish up, and I hope you all got some benefit out of the last little while. I hope I haven't bored you all too much, and I will welcome any questions that you might have.
Thanks, James. Thank you for a very interesting and detailed presentation, and also thank you for your kind words earlier. We'll move on to the Q&A. As I said earlier, if you have any questions, just type them into the question pane and we'll ask James. We have a few in already, so we'll get started. James, what are the main barriers that Modubuild have encountered for the implementation of lean within the business?
Yeah, there's probably a lot of barriers, and I think we're learning as we go as well. As I said, we're not perfect, but we learn as we go. I suppose some of the main barriers is that as I said, it's not personal, and it's for people to understand that we're not having a cut off them personally. We're challenging the task, we're challenging the project, not the person. You know, and that is a barrier that sometimes people may have the incorrect opinion of what we are trying to achieve, and people who are new to the business, who we're trying to integrate into our lean strategy, mightn't understand what we're trying to do. But that's where our culture is key, and our culture is very important to allow our lean strategy to be organic in the business. But as I said, that we're not pushing lean in their faces, telling them that we're a lean business and we must do this, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next question. What are the recommendations for the cultural change within the market to make modular construction the more prominent method over traditional?
Yeah, I think about that a lot myself, and I kind of touched on it in the presentation. I believe that we need to go back to the bare roots here, that we need to go back to the universities and ITs, and I know that Derek Sinnott and the guys down at WIT are pushing modular a lot, and I know that because we're contacted by a lot of final year students who come to us. But I think we need to start actually including modular construction as a module in third level construction projects, and to make it the new norm. The only way that we will succeed in making it the new norm is that the next generation coming out of colleges are being seen as catalysts for change, that they're the ones who are understanding what modular construction is, and that they're coming to companies like ourselves with an understanding of it from the get-go, but that they're also going out to the architectural firms, to the engineering firms and specifiers and project managers with the knowledge of what it is as well. Because there are some exceptional clients out there who really have a grasp on modular construction and who really have a grasp of what they want. But in many respects, the industry hasn't kept up with that, and perhaps not delivering what the client is looking for. And that is one of the big things that us here at Modular that we are focusing on, that we have focused on over the last few years. Some of the best projects we ever won was actually projects we didn't do, because we learned a lot from them and it allowed us to prototype and develop our system. So really, for me to change it, we need to go right back to the beginning, improve the training on what we're doing. One of the things that we're doing internally is that we're actually launching our own in-house apprenticeship scheme, where we're bringing in young people as tradespeople, and we're training them up in what is modular construction. At the moment, I think we're in the process of recruiting 20 apprentices to come in, and we will train them. And each one of those apprentices will be an SME for something that is required in the construction of a modular building, be that cladding, be that flooring, be that ceiling insulation, whatever it might be. But it's just a mindset shift that us as an industry needs to embrace.
Great, that's an excellent idea. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, next question in from an attendee. Do you believe that ISO and lean go hand in hand?
I do. Yeah, I do. It's lean goes hand in hand with everything, in my opinion. Okay. Probably have to catch me on the hop. Whoever sent in that question, if they'd like to send me an email and we can have a quick chat about it, I'd be delighted. But I do believe that they go hand in hand.
Okay, perfect. Do you believe that training in lean could improve the mentality about quality in the workplace?
Without a shadow of a doubt. And this is one of the big points of LCI. Susan, you and I were chatting about it earlier on, that the word of LCI is spreading a lot more, and that it's becoming the norm. That quality is first and center in everything that we're doing. We believe here in Modubuild that by taking your project off-site and bringing it to our factory, that we can, through applying lean strategies on our projects, that we can and most certainly will deliver your projects to higher quality than what may be achievable on site.
Okay, perfect. Another question, how important is it to ensure these systems are aligned where possible?
I'm not sure what systems we're talking about, but I assume that it's the systems of the lean tools that we're using in the business, from the data through to our continuous improvement. It's really important that they're aligned, because there's no point in doing something really well on one side and that's not talking to the next side. So it's through the life cycle of the business that systems must talk to one another, and that one system potentially will raise a red flag for another system. So it allows for life cycle improvement.
Okay, just to let you know, we're getting some lovely comments in about your fantastic presentation, and people are going to go and connect with you on LinkedIn. Another question coming in, are Modubuild actively taking actions to improve your carbon footprint?
Yes, we are. We certainly are, and that's something that we as a business are very, very cognizant of. Again, as I said, we've taken on about 40 new people in the last 12 months, which is an extraordinary achievement during the year that we've had. One of those people is a health, safety and environmental specialist. One of the big things that we have seen to make our projects more sustainable is how we wrap our modules as they're leaving our factory. We're looking at modules going out which are being wrapped with single-use plastics. Our objective now is to see, can we come up with a method or system to ensure that the modules are being wrapped with a reusable tarpaulin or something like that. And there's a lot more than that going on in the background to ensure that we are contributing to what is an improved environment for all of us to live in. And that's part of our CSR as well. Our CSR responsibility as the company is to ensure that we are good neighbours and that we are a good company to live beside, and that we're not hampering the environment in any way or making people's lives difficult.
Excellent. Another question in, how has COVID-19 affected your lean processes, and in particular just-in-time aspects for Modubuild?
Yeah, that's been, in particular, just-in-time has been difficult for us. It has had its challenges. Is what it's had to do is, as we know, some projects allow us to plan, and that we have what we want, where we have the time to order and schedule our deliveries. In regard to COVID, it's made it a little bit more complex, and where it becomes most complex is about that item that's needed tomorrow. That's not possible. And I suppose it has been the perfect storm this year, that COVID and Brexit were happening at the same time. So that kind of brought a lot more difficulties for us, but probably no different to the difficulties that it has brought to the whole sector. But one of the benefits that we have with our offsite manufacturing facility is that it's large enough where we can stockpile inventory, and we can keep inventory there. So if we need something, we have it at hand as we need it. As I said, it's a 145,000 square foot factory, but it's also based on 10 acres with lots of storage in it. So to try and mitigate against the issues around JIT in COVID, our objective is to try and keep inventory at our factory, which is probably at loggerheads of what lean is about, which is about keeping inventory and applying JIT as much as we can. But unfortunately, we must do what we must do to deliver our projects.
Absolutely. Okay, what percentage of construction will be made up of modular off-site by 2025? The attendee said realistic and optimistic figures.
Realistic and optimistic figures on that. We have one client who we know has an objective of achieving 80% off-site, a global client of achieving 80% off-site by 2025. It really boils down to the client and the end user and what their deliverable is. As a supplier and as part of the supply chain for modular construction, we would love if that was 100% or 80% or the lion's share, and we hope it is. But as I said, it's down to the client. And as I said during the presentation, it might be a case that it might be a hybrid, that part of a building will be done modular and part of the building will be done traditionally. You know, so there's a lot of variables to that and a lot of moving targets to that, but it really boils down to the client. And as I said, we have one excellent client who was very, very, very aware of what they want in context of modular and when they want it by.
Okay, perfect. We just have a few minutes left, so just one more question, if you don't mind. You mentioned industry collaboration. How do you promote greater industry collaboration?
I think we look at we choose our partners carefully, and our partners who want to come on the journey with us. Industry collaboration is going to be really key in making modular happen in years to come. I think the CIF are working very hard on that at the moment, and I know they're out there at the moment interviewing and critiquing a lot of companies who offer varying different types of modular construction, be it 2D modular construction or be it volumetric modular construction. But I think organizations like LCI and organizations like the CIF are doing a very good job at spreading the word of modular and creating that how would I say, that data sharing. I know that one of the objectives of the CIF is probably to have a centre of excellence or an R&D centre for modular construction, where as industry leaders, we can sit down and collaborate and speak about what is needed and how we do what we do. There is also another side to that where we're all competitors in the market and that we're all looking after our own patch. So I think that there's probably a happy medium needed to integrate all of that together. But no doubt LCI, CIF and other bodies will work hard to bring all that together.
Absolutely. Okay, that's perfect, James. We need to just wrap it up now. We're just here at the time. So I'd like to thank James again for his presentation today. A copy of this webinar will be sent out to everyone who attended. We will send out the information shortly via LinkedIn, Twitter, and newsletter for the next webinar that's taking place on the 19th of May, the topic of which is Enabling Industrialized Construction, the Future of Construction. That will be presented by Brian Kennedy, the Managing Director at Vision Build. Thank you again from James and myself on behalf of Lean Construction Ireland. You can follow Lean Construction Ireland on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and through the website leanconstructionireland.ie. James, thanks again, and everybody enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much, Susan.
You're welcome. Thanks.